By a show of hands, how many people here have received a gift before? That's awesome. And for those of you who have never received a gift before, don't worry. By the end of my talk, I will have given you one. See, I was born in Cairo, Egypt, in Cairo, Egypt, to loving parents. My father was the vice principal of a boarding school, and my mother was the head girls' dean at that same school. That's actually where they first met, and in a few years, they were married. My parents had great careers, friends, and family. They were both very, very happy. That is, until I was born. You see, when I was born, my dad's focus began to shift. He started to rethink everything he has ever known about the country. He started to ask himself, is there a better place out there to raise my kids? He labored over this question for a few years, and to answer this, he began to look at the surprising statistic showing how many students who still did not have a job after graduating college. He also looked at the fact of the high unemployment rates. This really agitated him. And finally, over the course of 4 years of asking himself these questions, he came up with a solution. He concluded that the best place to raise my brother and I to have a fighting chance at a great education and a great career would be in Canada, the land of opportunity, where education and healthcare flow like milk and honey. One day, my dad sat us down around a table, and he said, to tell us about his genius plan, and he said, you might not understand it now, but one day you will. I remember clearly, flat out refusing to go. I screamed, this is our home. But my dad's mind was made up, and before I knew it, I was on a plane for the first time in my life. See, first few years in Canada were the most challenging and difficult for my parents. My dad was having a hard time maintaining a job. He would work at one place for a few weeks, only to get fired when he would go to collect his paycheck. My mother was working long hours, continuing her education at the local university. She would work under the strict ruling of a miserable professor who would stop at nothing to belittle my mother in front of her fellow peers. My mom would come home tired and upset, but she wouldn't show it. She spent the evening cleaning the house and making us dinner. And I would see my parents struggle for a few years trying to make things work with what they have. But my parents' faith was so strong that they were dedicated to continue to forge ahead with whatever they have to give my brother and I a better future than what they ever could give us back in Egypt. And things started to work out. My dad got a great job as an accountant and was rewarded for his long years of hard work and service. My mother decided to follow one of her lifetime passions of being a pastry chef. This was a long way coming, and the end of the struggle seemed like a distant hope. But because of their hard work, we all live happily because of it. Now, I want to give you guys a gift today. And my gift is something that I believe will truly change all your lives. Like, it's changed my life. It's something that I've received, and I want to give it to you guys. So I'm sure you're wondering what that gift is. Well, I'll tell you. See, my parents gave me the greatest gift of all time. Through the constant struggle and hard work and dedication, they showed me the incredible power of beliefs. You see, beliefs are what define us, and they're the starting point of all change. They're what control everything that you do and you don't do. You see, when we believe in something, we take steps towards the right direction. And when we get to the point of truly believing, to the point that it's life or death, something extraordinary happens. See, our thoughts and actions begin to align. Our habits begin to change. And our whole world evolves into something much greater than what we could have ever anticipated. It's truly incredible. My dad proved this is so when he gave up everything he had to start a new life in a distant country. Just the thought of moving and the fear of the unknown would have stopped others dead in their tracks. But here's the thing, folks. Fear is nothing for a man who has the power of a strong belief. You see, when we have a strong belief, we start taking those risks and diving head over heels into our outcomes. We choose to focus on what we desire rather than the challenges and difficulties we may face, because that desire and that outcome is too good to ignore. And that's something remarkable when we truly start to believe. So, how is it that we begin to truly believe in something? I want to break it down in 3 steps. The first step is to burn our bridges. When we set a no-retreat mentality, we will find the resources to succeed. And if we cannot find the resources, we will create the resources. You will blaze through a path or create your own. You won't allow what anyone says or does to stop you or tear you down. My dad made leaving Egypt a number 1 priority. And yet when he arrived in Canada, he was faced with countless hardships and difficulties. Yet he continued to forge on. Because here's the thing about beliefs. They come from the heart. And no matter if you are mentally and physically exhausted, it still comes from the heart. And that's what makes them so powerful. Because they give you inner strength you never knew you had. And there's a saying. It goes like this: sticks and stones may break your bones. Words can certainly bruise your ego and taint your willpower, but they can never, ever take away what you believe. Step 2, we make progress. See, when we believe in something, we take steps towards our goal. And when we start seeing results, those results go back to reaffirming our belief. We take a little bit more action, and a little bit more. And eventually, that belief becomes conditioned within us. And it is at that point in time, that we begin to pull away from the mundane and truly harness that power of that belief. My dad continued to forge ahead, even though he was rejected and shunned. And something that he shared with me was later in life, when I asked him about moving to Canada, he said the struggle was hard and there was a lot of agony and torture in moving. I mean, especially when you're accepted in the promised land, the country that you thought had all these opportunities in. When you struggle and face those difficulties, you have to forge ahead and continue to make do, and that's exactly what he did. Step 3, we must make our belief a conviction. See, when we make our belief a conviction, that's the strongest form of belief. And that, when you have a belief that's a conviction, you know without a shadow of a doubt that you will succeed at whatever you set your mind to. So how do we get a conviction? Well, we must believe in that belief for a substantial amount of time, and it will come. So today I want to share with you my conviction. Growing up, I didn't believe I had or could offer anyone anything of much value. So I was mostly shy and I kept to myself. But one day, about 4 years ago, I hit rock bottom. I was truly fed up with everything, and mostly myself. And I always tell the people that I counsel and mentor that hitting rock bottom is a blessing in disguise. And I know it doesn't feel that way when you're in it, but it is. You see, when we hit rock bottom, it opens up our eyes to the things that we have been blinded to. It forces us to analyze and rethink everything that we avoided looking at. So, at that point, we get 2 choices. Choice number one is we can go on living being miserable and angry all the time and accepting that what we have now in life is what we're going to have until we die. Or we can make a change. We can change the way we see the world. And the latter is exactly what I chose. I made a conscious decision to change, and change I did. I became fastidious with personal growth and helping everyone see their inner potential. My conviction is to continue to serve people and help everyone I meet truly enjoy life. My favorite quote, and something that has helped me get through the challenges and difficulties in my life, is by a woman named Marianne Williamson. And she says, "Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, talented, gorgeous, and fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? Who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. There's nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people will not feel insecure around you. We were all made to make and manifest the glory of God that is within us. It is not just in some of us, it is in all of us. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. My parents gave me the greatest gift of all time by stumbling upon this knowledge. And in turn, I give this gift to others. Something that I want to encourage you guys to know, that I want to implore you today, as you go through your life from here on out, that you take a cold, hard look at some of your beliefs and make changes to the ones that are holding you back. Because there is a power in beliefs. And I want you to understand that it will take you to exactly where you need to be. Trust in it. Thank you.